Your holiday baking is here today. It doesn't have to be hard. Instead, it's super easy. One bowl, gingerbread blondies. Let me tell you something. They have that chew and that delicious texture of a blondie mixed with all the spices of gingerbread in a bar. Super simple, no cutting, no rolling. Let's make them so your holiday baking repertoire can have these in them. It's the Christmas season and the holiday season, and what does that mean? We're all looking for the best new cookie, the most exciting cookie. Maybe you're taking it to a party or, I don't know, some type of gathering or cookie swap. This is the year for the bar cookie to make a return, which means a bar. They're originally called bar cookies, and we're making a gingerbread blondie. We love blondies. They are delicious because they are soft textured. They just melt in your mouth. But we're gonna up it with some gingerbread spices and really make it seasonal. So you can take this to any holiday party and still be on top of the cookie game. So to start, what we're gonna do is have some melted butter, which I was melting, and now we just wanna let it cool slightly before we add it. So I have it melted. We're gonna let it sit here as we start with the other ingredients. And that's gonna begin with a couple eggs. You know, blondies are one of the easiest bar cookies, whatever you wanna call them, to make because they all can get made in a bowl. Pretty minimal mixing, and they're always a crowd pleaser. Kids love them, adults love them. They're just one of those delicious bars. So what I'm gonna do is break up the eggs first just to make sure they incorporate well. So I'm gonna break up those yolks and just whisk them together. It's pretty simple, but this way they're gonna whisk into all the other wet ingredients a lot more easily, and that's what's important here. So we have those whisked. We're just gonna take this out, and what we're gonna do is add the rest of our wet ingredients. Now, since these are gingerbread, we're gonna add a little bit of molasses. So just like we would do to a gingerbread cookie, the molasses obviously has those deeper notes of caramel and almost those kind of bitter slight edge. And that's what you really want here. You wanna just up that a little bit and add it right in. Now, of course, brown sugar has it too, but this is just gonna increase that flavor even more. We're gonna add a little bit of vanilla, and then the brown sugar. And I'm using light brown sugar because I am supplementing with that molasses, which, did you know the difference between light brown sugar and dark brown sugar is just the molasses content it has mixed into it? Light brown has less, dark brown has more. So we're gonna add in this brown sugar and then just whisk this together. You can't make it light and fluffy. This isn't like a normal incorporation in cookies or something where you're making this light and fluffy, but you wanna make sure you're starting to incorporate it all together. And you can see instantly the color these are gonna be, which is slightly darker than a traditional blondie, and that's what I love about them. And as we whisk this, you wanna make sure any of those brown sugar clumps are starting to dissipate into the mixture. And again, what's great about these, it makes a nice large batch, so you can cut these in any size you want. You can add them in with your other ones you're making, your other cookies, your holiday things. And I love to package these as gifts because since they have a good amount of butter, they retain that moisture for a long time and are just like perfect texture. So we have our butter. It's cooled down slightly from melting. You don't want to cook the eggs, so I'm going to add it right in here. And I mixed everything else together first because it incorporates a little bit more evenly if I can incorporate this butter second. So I'm going to just start mixing this into this mixture until it's all incorporated. Once that butter's all incorporated, you can see how it just has this beautiful texture already. Blondies really are. I remember the first time I made them, I was hooked, and that's because they're really that good. So now we just want to, I'm gonna actually take out the whisk because at this point, all I'm gonna do is fold everything together. You don't really need a hard whisk. This is actually pretty simple after this step. So we're going to just take some flour. And again, always to make sure you're not overdoing the flour or packing it in, I'm overfilling with a scoop and then just leveling off. That's gonna always make sure that you have a nice flour amount without overdoing it. Because when we just stuff our measuring cup down in that canister, yeah, no, you know what that does? It stuffs in too much flour and it packs it in, and you don't wanna do that. So we have our flour, and then we're gonna add a little bit, just a small amount of baking powder. This just ups that texture that we want a little bit more and ensures a really nice, beautiful brownie. And then what we're gonna do is have the mixture that makes these gingerbread. So we have some ground ginger, we have some cinnamon, and just a little bit of cloves, just enough to give them the essence that we need, and we're gonna pop those right in here. And then the final component that you always need, pretty much in anything you make, is some kosher salt. We're gonna put that right there, and then fold it together. Now we just wanna make sure we fold everything together. And the reason I'm folding is because when you add the flour, that's gonna start activating that gluten in the flour. And so if you whisk it too hard or stir it in too much, it can make it a little bit more dry and not the best texture. So to me, when I'm doing something like this, I just wanna fold it in so I gently am mixing it and not over mixing it. That's also a good reason not to use a stand mixer. We just want to do it until it's just perfect. And if you see a few little dry pieces, that is just okay. That's actually perfectly mixed, and I'm not worried about those. So now I'm gonna grab my pan so we can put this right, but look at that texture. It's just beautiful. So I buttered my 9x13. That was the important part here. You don't need a lot of extra things like parchment. You could do a parchment sling if you want to, but honestly, these come out really beautifully. So I just buttered it. And now I'm gonna put all this right into that baking dish. And this is where you wanna make sure you get all the goodness out. We don't wanna leave any behind. We went to all the work. I'm gonna use all those ingredients. And now I just wanna spread it out to an even layer. You wanna take this step to do this because this is what's gonna give you a better just overall bar when you're done. So you can get it all the way to the edges. See how perfectly that spreads? It's a beautiful texture. I'm just gonna spin this around so I can get each corner into its respective spot. Already, if you were here, what you're smelling is gingerbread. You're smelling that beautiful aroma of the ginger mixed with the cinnamon and those hints of molasses. So just like when you make a cookie, you're getting that same flavor. And you know what's great? Look how much easier this is than a cookie. You don't have to roll anything out. You don't have to cut it out. And you can still do those too, but this is a great way if you feel like you don't have time to make lots of cookies for the holidays to still enjoy them. So I'm gonna clean this off, make sure I incorporate it all, and we're gonna put these right into the oven. We're gonna bake them, and then we're gonna just finish them off with a little bit of a topping. I took the bars out, they were puffed, but then as blondies always do, they fall slightly, which is exactly what you want, that little ripple around the edge. They smell so good. They smell just like gingerbread. So now what we're gonna do is I melted a little bit of white chocolate, and you can see, look at that beautiful consistency. And this is just if you want to, but what I like is, why not just to dress them up? Sometimes you put chocolate chips or something in a blondie. So what we're gonna do is just sprinkle some here over the top in no rhyme or reason. So when we cut them, we get a nice, beautiful kind of display of it. Now what I'll do is, once this is done, I'm just gonna put this then back in the fridge just for a couple minutes to solidify that white chocolate, then slice them up and eat one, because believe me, these are gonna go quick. The white chocolate only takes a couple minutes to chill, and now we can get in there. I just sliced them up. Look at that perfect blondie. See how it has that soft texture that we want? And it's just that, it's that smell that's iconic at Christmas, and that's what I love. So you're gonna need a cup of coffee with this, don't worry. But okay, why do we love blondies? They have a chew that's perfect. It's like crisp top and just like that beautiful texture inside. It's not fudgy, but has just enough chew from that molasses and that brown sugar. And it instantly tastes like gingerbread in the best way. That mixture of spices, that ginger, the cinnamon, a little bit of clove, or that perfect warming mixture that makes us feel like the holiday season, makes us feel like winter. And believe me, these go perfect with coffee or hot chocolate, or try my eggnog. This would be amazing with eggnog. So what do I hope you do? I hope you realize that the holidays don't have to be about all the cookies, all the time-consuming treats. They can be about blondies, about bars that you can gift, that you can portion into whatever size you want. You know, you could cut these in half again and make little small fingers and have them out for a tray. You don't need to go all out for dessert. Make these, enjoy them, share them around. Check my website, wyseguide.com for this video. All my other videos and recipes are on my website. Until then, have a wonderful holiday season. Enjoy something delicious that's easy to make.